well, thank you very much. And I do have Kelsey Feeney here, just in case there's some questions that I can't answer. All right. So what I found is when I got to Webster is the structure there was a little different than what I found typically in the wastewater industry is. Usually you have the chief operator is the top of the org chart because it's his license on the line. If there's any issues that happens, the DEC and EPA are going to have him that he has to have the answer. So structures usually should be made for the position, not people and personalities. So you can have a plug and play as you move along. But so how we started looking at this was we currently have 19 budgeted positions, and this is the current structure with the deputy commissioner at the top. And then filtering off of that is the chief operator and the operations staff below him, the sewer foreman with the maintenance staff under him, and the clerk and part-time maintenance and clerks underneath the deputy commissioner. So the proposed changes start with, actually, we looked into deleting this position. It's been kicked around on how this org chart should happen, but understanding that it is in the code, the title is in the code, so it can't quite be deleted. And obviously, maybe down the road, 10 years down the road, somebody would want to reinstitute that. So what we're looking to do is unfunded, is take the money that is earmarked for that position and create an operator position that will give us another body to have there for operations staff, but also move the chief operator to the top of the structure. And again, as I said, that unfunded position, the money is that already budgeted for that position to fund the new operator position. So the next change would be we had two part-time, a part-time clerk and a part-time maintenance staff. When Denise Jones and Ken Dickinson retired, the idea was to bring them back part-time, hire some new people, but put them into part-time to utilize their vast knowledge and past experiences, but also help train the new people coming into their positions. It was kind of an overlap. So currently, the part-time maintenance is no longer coming back. His need has been utilized, and we're looking to create a part-time operator position. So delete the part-time maintenance and create a part-time operator. And that is, we do have our current lab director retiring, and taking with him is all that vast knowledge, but we're looking to, with this part-time position, have him come back, train the new operators, and utilize that knowledge in our eLab lab. The next change would be to take one of the maintenance positions, delete that, but actually transform it into a sewer foreman. So currently we have a sewer foreman that mostly takes care of the collection system, which is 22 pump stations. We have certificates of occupancy that have to be done, usually weekly. We have flushing schedules with our 2 flush trucks. That's weekly, monthly, emergency cleanings. We do camera lines. We do stakeouts, emergency and scheduled stakeouts. I think that was over 3,000 of them last year. So there's a lot of time utilized to the collection system. But we now have a new plant that has on more buildings, more process, more tankage. So we're looking to create a sewer foreman that would be in the plant, taking care of all of that maintenance, all of the parts inventory, all the truck inventory, and the sewer foreman for the collection. So they would be interchangeable, but they would be worked together. So they would, if one was off that day, the other one would take over for both of those positions. The next change is, as I stated on the current lab director that's retiring, he was actually paid at a higher step than what the grade steps are currently. And I think that was the town acknowledging over these years that the lab director was more of a specialized position that takes care of that eLab lab. And so we just want to memorialize that. That was never written in there. So what we're looking to is whoever's appointed that out of the operations staff and head of this lab would have one step above what his current grade is. Also, one of the other things we're looking at is the clerk 2 that has been there for 4 or 5 years now. When all this new project came on with the deputy commissioner leaving for another position or retiring, some of those duties actually were doled out, taking over a lot of the collection system projects that are going on. She deals with a lot of the engineers on that. But also with new programs coming in, with this, our upgrade, us becoming more of a merchant facility and a business, with all the Fairlife's flow coming and their outside waste being hauled in, all the septage that we're going to be looking to take in, there's a management of that. So kind of looking to provide this individual a stipend until she retires, but also that'll help her train the new clerk coming in. So it's kind of like some of the duties that were not part of hers when she took the job were added on. So this is just a compensator for that. But the new clerk coming in will know their position, know all it'll be defined, and then so the position will go to the same pay as the clerk too. All of these changes, we still would have 19 budgeted positions in the budget. So overview of the changes, the eliminations would be the deputy commissioner funding, the part-time maintenance position, and the maintenance man. We'd create an operator, a part-time operator, and elevate that to the maintenance to super foreman. Also, the changes would be adding a step to the wastewater treatment plant operator for lab director and providing a stipend to the clerk 2 position. So on these changes, the board approval would need to be for the deputy commissioner and creating the operator position, deleting the maintenance man, creating the sewer foreman, and deleting the part-time maintenance man and creating a part-time operator. The other two would be labor management agreements with the union. So between the town and the union, that would be adding the step to the operator and providing the stipend. So the overall effect on the budget or on the department would be staffing numbers remain the same, a structure that will work no matter the individuals or personalities, creates a better oversight of laboratory, collection system, and plant facilities, and it would be an overall decrease in the 2026 salary budgeted, projected out of a full year of $119,000. And that doesn't include benefits. So some of these that were retiring or left, higher price benefits because it's kind of a percentage off of your salary, and the ones filling in would come in at a lower rate. So it would be an overall savings. Any questions?
Hey, Rick, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to meet with me. I think it was last week or the week before. This is very budget responsible. With respect to the clerk 2 position for the stipend, have you and Kelsey considered possibly changing that position to a clerk 1? Is it possible to do that?
That was one of the options we looked at. We looked at some other options for clerk 2, changing it from an hourly to a salary. We felt that in this situation, this was more of a temporary thing that we wanted to do. We felt the stipend would be the best way to go about that.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe moving forward, that could be something that the town decides through the budgetary process and us going through our budget, say, hey, let's go for a clerk 1. You call for the test, and go that route. But we just thought this was more of a temporary thing to in a compensation basis.
Yeah. During the meeting last week, I expressed some frustration with the current upgrade, and that had nothing to do with you and your team, and I should have clarified that when I was expressing my frustration, because you've put together and Art put together a heck of a team down there. Mm-hmm. And I think this past week is an example of the cohesiveness that you have down there, including the dedication. If you want to just elaborate a little bit from your perspective of what, given all this rain.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's with our job down there, sometimes it's kind of, there's some downtime, but when it's all hands on deck, I never had a problem getting any guy to come in and do his job. The other night with all the rainfall, our plant flow, we are designed for 7.1 currently. We're at 25 million gallons coming through the plant. Obviously, a lot of that can't handle it. The actually sanitary collection system was inundated. We had guys work all night long, they were up from their regular shift, went in that night, worked all night long, keeping pump stations down. We had Chamberlain come in. One of them even came back to the plant after being at the pump stations at 7:30, 7 o'clock. We were checking in, and he was willing to work the full day.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I know you can do that, but we got guys to take care of you. Go home and get some rest. So they're very dedicated and a great talented staff.
Oh, just make sure you pass on our great appreciation for their dedication. They're doing a great job down there. That's all I had.
Yeah, Rick, just a quick question. So the part-time lab director, if it's for a knowledge transfer, is that planning on being a permanent position that you'll always have a part-time lab director alongside the one that gets that designation?
Well, again, it'd be like, no. This part-time lab guy, he'll be coming back just to help us out. It's, again, sometimes overlapping staff, when you have new guys coming in a lab and a guy that's been there forever, and they take that knowledge with them, that you lose that forever. This allows us to overlap, teach, and then once we feel that's enough, we can just, like the other two, like the maintenance part-time, and I think in our clerk part-timer, that's down to nothing now anyway, so that may be gone too. So it's kind of like it's a part-time, kind of a temporary situation that fits the need at that time.